out. I'm very sorry to barge into your house so late.
It's all right, Chief. I understand. Since this is business, I think I will just disappear for a few minutes. Excuse me.
Thanks a lot. We won't be long, I promise. Coming in. So, what'd you find out?
Got another riddle for you. One that I can't figure out. Maybe you can.
I'll try. What is it?
The NCIC ran those prints through their computer, and they belonged to a criminal, all right.
Uh-huh.
A man whose prints those were had just been convicted of murder, as a matter of fact. Logan, those prints belonged to Draper Scott.
Draper? Oh, come on, Derek, don't be ridiculous. How would Emily Michaels get a hold of Draper's fingerprint card?
I've been trying to figure it out ever since I got this news.
Ah, there must be some kind of mistake.
It's no mistake. The computer has no bias. The computer doesn't know Draper Scott from a hole in the wall, but it knows his prints.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, what would Emily Michaels have to do with Draper Scott?
Go get him.
Emily, back here. Come on.
Over there.
They're going over there. I'm going out that way. Stay here.
No,
Emily, do what I say. Stay here.
Be careful.
Like you're asking me to put together the pieces of two different puzzles and make one picture.
There are two different puzzles, but I only know about one of them because I never met Emily Michaels, but you did.
Oh, yes, I met her.
Like you were so concerned about her, you got my two best detectives to track down her background.
I wasn't concerned about her. I was concerned about April, because April was letting Emily and her husband live in her house.
An invisible husband, you mean?
Oh, no, Derek. He existed. He existed. I caught a glimpse of him one day. I was out there specially to meet him. He was getting off the bus, and Just then, Emily barreled out the front door and warned him off.
Why did she do that?
I don't know. She gave me some cockamamie story about an illness, loss of memory. I figured at the time that she thought I was going to arrest him the minute I laid eyes on him.
Well, Deborah did say something about her husband having a record.
Well, Kirk Michaels had the record, but as you recall, there was also a death certificate included in that record.
Well, then why can't there be two people named Kirk Michaels?
Two? There can be 100, but none of them are going to have Draper Scott's fingerprints, are they?
That is the baffling part. How did she get a hold of those fingerprints?
Oh, Derek. You remember when Deborah and I went up to Graham County? The only clue we were able to come up with was this story about a tramp, or at least someone who was described as a tramp by this waitress.
Yeah, maybe you said something about that, but it didn't do us any good.
No, it didn't do us any good at all at the time. But there was a curious aspect to this story. This tramp was seen on a road heading out of town, out towards the farm country. Now, why would somebody who needed to panhandle be going out where the houses were scarce?
Find shelter in a barn somewhere?
Maybe. Then again, maybe not. The waitress also told us that road led straight to the house of a local physician, a man named Leo Galt, who also happened to be Emily's father.
Wait a minute, I'm following you. Go on.
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting coincidence myself, so I questioned Emily Michaels about it. I questioned Molly Sherwood about it.
April's housekeeper?
Right. Recommended to April by Emily. Molly used to be Leo Galt's housekeeper as well. I asked them, did they see anything strange the night of the train wreck? Any strangers wandering around? Anything at all? No, didn't see a thing. End of inquiry.
All of a sudden, Emily Michaels turns up with a dead man's fingerprints.
No. Not a dead man's. These are fingerprints of a man she says is very much alive. Her husband, who just happens to have a memory problem. Who just happened to return to her after an absence of 10 years on the same night that Draper Scott died. Her husband, who we know died 9 years earlier in a police shootout. I would say, all of a sudden, that the pieces of these two puzzles are fitting together very nicely indeed. I'm just not sure I like the picture.
Kirk Michaels is Draper Scott?
Exactly.
It's the wildest theory I've heard in all my years as a cop.
It's the only theory that fits the facts.
There's only one way to prove that.
Yeah.
Let's get a hold of Emily Michaels.
Maybe she's home by now.
No, I tried to get her as soon as I got this information. She's not there.
What do you think? She skipped town with her husband?
That could be, but wait a minute. Deborah Saxon said she thought she had a lead. This guy that she saw with Emily Michaels at her house.
Guy? What guy?
Larry Watts. He's got a record, but I don't know too much about him. She thought it'd be wise to try to talk to him. That's what she's trying to do right now.
This time of night? Where?
I don't know. She gave me this information when I saw her in a restaurant tonight.
This Larry Watts. Does she think that he might know where Emily Michaels is?
Yeah, she does. Look, I told her to keep in touch with me, to call me at headquarters. Think I ought to go back there now and see?
I think that might be a very good idea.
All right.
Is coast clear?
Yeah, come on in.
I think you two have had enough time to talk confidential business, huh?
We have, but I'm going back to headquarters now.
Well, why don't you stay a little bit, Chief? I think maybe we could all talk, and so late as it is, we might be able to catch the sunrise off the terrace. It happens to be a spectacular view.
I think I'm going to have to watch the sunrise from the department.
Don't you think you ought to be heading to bed? You must be exhausted by
No,
now.
I'm fine, and I would appreciate your staying. I think we could talk a little more.
I think maybe we could.
Listen, I am really sorry about barging in so late.
Don't apologize. Good night.
Good night.
Well, since the Chief ordered the autopsy, he was in on your little conspiratorial secrecy thing here, too, wasn't he?
Yeah, you knew all about it.
Yeah. Obviously, he must have agreed then that poor April shouldn't know. It's all right. It's all right. I'm not angry. You realize that.
Of course.
I mean, what's done is done. You made your decision, right or wrong. Now it's all out in the open, and I know the truth.
Do you?
What's that supposed to mean? What did the Chief have to say?
He had quite a lot to say. Could I ask you to fix us a couple of cups of coffee? It's going to be a long story. I'll tell you the whole thing.